Consumer Watch for you now. More than 145,000 half-gallon cartons of vanilla Almond Breeze almond milk have been recalled because they may contain actual milk.
Call to tell you about tonight affecting almond milk. More than 145,000 half-gallon cartons of vanilla Almond Breeze almond milk recalled.
Americans spent $1.55 billion on almond milk last year. And based on consumer analyses and a class action lawsuit that went to trial, some of the most popular brands contain as little as 2% actual almonds by weight. That's not almond milk. That's almond-flavored water in a pretty carton. And some of those cartons are sitting in your fridge right now. That's why I'm exposing 10 almond milk brands you need to stop buying and revealing 6 that are actually made with real almonds. The data behind this comes from class action court records, USDA label analysis, and peer-reviewed research indexed on the NIH PubMed database. Let's start with number 10, the bad list. Number 10, Kirkland Signature, standard non-organic. Costco's house brand moves in bulk, and for a warehouse shop, that implies quality by association. But the ingredient list tells the real story. Sunflower lecithin in gel-on gum, not almonds. Gel-on gum is a microbially fermented polysaccharide that simulates creaminess. It's doing the job that actual almonds should be doing. Protein, 1 gram per cup, a direct symptom of low nut content. Most commercial almond milks contain only 2 to 10% almonds by weight, with the rest being water and stabilizers. Kirkland sits at the low end. It pours almost translucent and leaves a faintly starchy, filmy finish. You're buying bulk pricing on bulk water with an industrial additive stack. If you think the store brand problem is Costco specific, the next brand runs the exact same playbook, just with a more carefully curated health image. Number 9, Trader Joe's conventional label. Trader Joe's has a well-earned reputation for quality across most of their stores. Almond milk is not one of those categories. Their conventional almond milk uses sunflower lecithin, gel-on gum, and locust bean gum to stretch an extremely low almond concentration into something that resembles milk. Protein, 1 gram per cup, when the ingredient list is longer than necessary for something that should fundamentally be nuts and water. That list is confessing something. Natural flavors appears on the label, a term that under FDA rules can cover a wide range of flavoring compounds with 0 required disclosure. It pours like skim milk and tastes of faint synthetic sweetness. No real nuttiness, because there are barely any nuts. At $2.69 a half gallon, feels like a deal. It's a deal on stabilizer water. At least Trader Joe's isn't aggressively marketing this as a health product. The next brand absolutely is. Number 8, O Organics standard lines. O Organics, Albertsons/Safeway's organic label, carries genuine USDA organic certification. The almonds weren't treated with synthetic pesticides. Credit where it's due. But organic certification covers how the almonds were grown, not how many almonds ended up in the carton. What fills the gap here is organic sunflower oil and organic orgone. Protein, 1 gram per cup, identical to the Kirkland. Organic sunflower oil is a refined omega-6. Heavy fat added purely from mouth. It's a shortcut. The slightly thicker texture you notice is the oil's doing, not the almonds. At $3.99 for a half gallon, you're paying an organic premium for a product that doesn't deliver real nut dent. The organic label is working a lot harder than the almond. The next brand wears the same organic credentials on its sleeve, while hiding the same industrial shortcuts in the fine print. Number 7, Planet Oat almond blend variants / generic analogs. Planet Oat is primarily an oat milk brand, but their almond blend variants and comparable store brand analogs follow the same playbook. Dilute nut content, heavy stabilizers, market around the category's health halo. In these products, almonds appear deep in the ingredient list, listed after water, after added cane sugar, after gel-on. When a nut is listed after an industrial gum, that's your answer about how much nut you're consuming. These blended products sit at the very bottom of the 2 to 10% almond content range documented across the commercial category. The taste gives it away. Oat forward, slightly sweet, with a chalky mineral finish. No real nuttiness, because there are barely any nuts. At $4.29 for a half gallon, that's mid-tier pricing for bottom-tier almond content. The next brand is the ultimate budget play, and it shows in every sip. Number 6, Great Value, Walmart. Great Value makes no pretense about being premium. At $2.18 for a half gallon, it is the cheapest, widely available almond milk on the market, and you get exactly what you pay for. The ingredient list reads like a stabilizer glossary. Gel-on gum, locust bean gum, sunflower lecithin. 3 separate texture manipulation additives for a product that, with sufficient almond content, would need none of. Protein, 1 gram per cup. Added sugar in the original variety, 7 grams per cup, nearly 2 teaspoons per glass. In a product many people choose specifically to reduce sugar intake. Research has linked gum-based additives in ultra-processed foods to gut inflammation and insulin resistance. Not an abstract risk when they're stacked 3 deep in a single product. It tastes watery, slightly sweet, and vaguely chalky. There's nothing wrong with buying cheap groceries. There's something worth knowing about what you're buying when you buy this. This brand doesn't pretend to be something it is. The next one does, loudly. Before we get there, take a second to hit like and subscribe. We break down shady food brands every week, and you will not want to miss what's coming. All set, let's keep going. Number 5, Califia Farms. Non-organic lines. Califia Farms has one of the most recognizable bottles in the category. That curvy silhouette, the wellness-forward branding, the Whole Foods place. They build a genuinely premium image, which makes it more frustrating that they're standard non-organic lines. The ones most people actually buy because they're cheaper and more widely stocked include gel-on gum, sunflower lecithin, and natural flavors. Under FDA regulations, natural flavors can include any flavoring compound derived from a plant or animal source regardless of processing steps, with zero disclosure required. Blue Diamond faced a class action lawsuit over vanilla flavor labeling on similar grounds, and the same ambiguity applies. The texture is smoother than budget brands, the sunflower lecithin doing cosmetic work. But at $4.49, $5.49 a half gallon, you're paying near premium prices for a non-organic, gum-stabilized product. Their organic line is genuinely different, and it makes the good list label. The next brand has a more specific ingredient problem, one that research has been building a case against for years. Number 4, Almond Dream. Almond Dream is one of the original commercial almond milks. It helped establish the category before plant-based milk was a lifestyle trend. That founding contribution is real. But Almond Dream has historically used carrageenan as a thickener, and carrageenan is one of the most studied contested additives in the food supply. Research indicates that even moderate intake of carrageenan may have pro-inflammatory effects in the gut, potentially contributing to conditions like Crohn's disease and increased risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular. In animal studies, it has triggered intestinal ulceration, reduced bacterial diversity in the gut microbiome, and increased intestinal permeability, leaky gut. Check current labels as formulations change. But the brand's documented history with this additive is not a minor foot. It pours suspiciously thick. That's carrageenan simulating creaminess the nut content doesn't justify. There's a faintly gluey finish. At $4.69 a half gallon, you're paying mid-range prices for a legacy formula that's been a cautionary tale in food additive research for over a decade. The next brand is the most purchased almond milk in America. Given what we just covered about additives, that context is going to sting. Number 3, So Delicious. So Delicious is owned by Danone. Keep that in mind because Silk, coming next, is also owned by Danone. When two brands share a parent company, they tend to share sourcing logic too. This is not a coincidence. So Delicious built its reputation on coconut milk products, but their almond milk line leans so heavily on stabilizers to compensate for thin nut content that even fans have noted the watery, flat mouth feel. Gel-on gum, locust bean gum, sunflower lecithin, all present. Protein, 1 gram per cup. The additive stack exists to simulate creaminess that real almond density would create naturally. Research on ultra-processed food additives, including gum blends, has shown that moderate intake triggers gut inflammation in healthy adults, with heightened effects in individuals predisposed to metabolic conditions. Scientists have specifically recommended caution for people managing blood sugar or BMI. It tastes thin, vaguely sweet, and industrial in aftertaste. At $4.29, $4.99 a half gallon. That's mid-tier pricing for stabilizer water. Danone also owns number 2. Same parent, same logic, much more aggressive marketing. Number 2, Silk. Silk is Danone's flagship plant-based brand. One of the largest selling almond hashtag number 2. Silk is Danone's flagship plant-based brand and one of the largest selling almond milks in America. The wellness marketing is everywhere. The substance behind it is not. A class action lawsuit in this category specifically alleged products were advertised as all natural while containing synthetic ingredients. Silk's standard line includes conventional non-organic almonds, 7 grams of added cane sugar per cup, gel-on gum, and synthetic vitamin blends. Vitamins added back in to replace the nutrition that low almond content failed to deliver naturally. Research has linked gum-based additives to increased glucose intolerance and insulin resistance, a product simultaneously spiking sugar and disrupting glucose metabolism is actively working against a consumer who chose almond milk to manage blood sugar. Protein, 1 gram per cup at $4.79. $5.49 a half gallon. Danone charges premium prices for what is fundamentally water, gums, and synthetic vitamins. The worst offender, more lawsuits, more documentation. Still, the best-selling brand in America is coming next. Number 1, Blue Diamond Almond Breeze. Blue Diamond is a California almond-growing cooperative with real agricultural roots. Almond Breeze carries that heritage front and center. It sounds like it should be packed with almonds. A class action lawsuit against Blue Diamond reached $8.9 million settlement over advertising Almond Breeze products as all natural or natural while containing synthetic ingredients. And the lawsuit also challenged how many almonds are actually used, since the product is advertised as being made from almonds, but only roughly 2% of the ingredients are actually nuts. That's not their only settlement. Consumers who purchased Blue Diamond Almond Breeze vanilla products were parties to a $2.6 million class action settlement. The lawsuit alleging consumers were misled into thinking the products got their flavor from real vanilla. The court granted final approval in October 2021. 2 class action settlements, $11.6 million in combined payouts. Asterisk and Almond Breeze is still the top-selling almond milk in America. The label, sunflower lecithin, gel-on gum, natural flavors. Protein, 1 gram per cup, original variety. 7 grams of added sugar per cup at $4.49, $4.99 a half gallon. This is the most litigated, most sued, most mislabeling documented product in the entire category, and it still owns the shelf. Enough with the brands charging almond milk prices for stabilizer water. It's time to see what real almond milk actually looks and tastes like. 6 almond milk brands that are actually made with real almonds. The good list. Number 6, Califia Farms Organic Almond Milk. Yes, the same brand that made the bad list. That's entirely the point. In 2023, Califia introduced a USDA organic line with a completely stripped formula. Almonds, sea salt, purified water. 3 ingredients. No sunflower lecithin, no gel-on gum, no natural flavors. When a brand that built its standard line on an additive stack deliberately removes all of it for once, it proves the conventional shortcuts were always choices, not necessities. Protein, 1 gram per cup, 0 added sugar. Sodium, approximately 170 mg per cup from the sea salt, the one number to monitor. Everything else is clean. The texture is thinner and truer than the conventional line because the body now comes from actual almonds rather than a gum matrix. It tastes like nuts, not like nut flavor. At $5.99, $6.49 for a 48 ounces carton. It's a fair premium for a fundamentally different product. If you want even higher nut density, the next brand pushes further. Number 5, Moala Organic Unsweet. Moala is a Texas-based brand built around ingredient transparency, and their organic unsweetened almond milk delivers in a category where most don't. Ingredient list: organic almonds, filtered water, sea salt. USDA organic certified across the full formulation, not just the almonds. No gums, no lecithin, no synthetic vitamins, no natural flavors. 0 added sugar. Sodium, approximately 160 mg per cup. Protein sits at 1 gram per cup, honest for the almond concentration, but without refined oils inflating the calorie count. The overall profile is cleaner than anything on the bad list. It's lightly nutty, genuinely clean, and finishes without any gummy or chalky aftertaste. A direct contrast to so delicious, watery, industrial flatness. Moala is recognized alongside MALK and Elmhurst as a brand emphasizing minimal ingredient, clean label formulations for consumers prioritizing transparency. At $5.49, $6.49 for a 48 ounces carton. It's priced fairly for what it actually is. The next brand has the most interesting manufacturing process in the entire category. Number 4, New Barn Organics. New Barn Organics holds regenerative organic certification, a standard that goes significantly further than USDA organic by including soil health benchmarks, animal welfare requirements, and farm worker fairness standards. It is the most rigorous third-party food certification currently operating in the U.S. market. The ingredient list reflects the same philosophy: organic almonds, filtered water, Organic vanilla, vanilla variety. Sea salt. No gums, no refined oils, no synthetic additives. Nutritionally, 0 added sugar in the unsweetened variety. 1 gram of protein per cup, approximately 140. 160 mg of sodium per cup, clean from top to bottom. The taste is smooth, naturally sweet from the almonds themselves, with no artificial aftertaste and no watery collapse. Everything the great value and Kirkland entries were pretending to be. At $6.99, $7.99 for a 28 ounces bottle. It's the premium end. For a regenerative organic certified product, that premium is defensive. The next brand approaches the nut content problem from a completely different technical direction, and the result is unlike anything the mainstream market offers. Number 3, Elmhurst 1925. Elmhurst was a conventional New York dairy company founded in 1925. They converted entirely to plant-based milks in 2017. And instead of copying the gum and additive formula every other brand defaulted to, they developed a proprietary cold milling process called hydro-release technology, which extracts the full nutritional profile of the nut, proteins, fats, naturally occurring carbohydrates, without destroying it, and without requiring synthetic vitamins or stabilizers to compensate. The result, an ingredient list of almonds, water, 2 ingredients. Protein, 5 grams per cup in their milked almonds line. That is 5 times what you get from Silk or Almond Breeze. 0 added sugar. Sodium, approximately 65 mg per cup, the lowest on this entire list. It tastes like almonds, genuinely creamy, naturally thick, with a nutty richness that comes entirely from nut density. The closest thing on a grocery shelf to homemade almond at $6.99 for a 32 ounces carton. The per ounce price is higher than the mainstream brands. You're also getting 5x the protein. The math is straightforward. The next brand takes the organic angle to its logical extreme and is a hair's width from the gold standard. Number 2, 3 Trees. 3 Trees is a San Francisco founded brand built from day one as a direct counterargument to the low almond content mainstream market, and the formulation backs that up completely. Ingredient list for their organic unsweetened almond milk, organic almonds, filtered water. That is all. No sea salt, no vanilla, no vitamins, no gums, no lecithin. 2 ingredients. USDA organic certified across the full product. Protein, 4 grams per cup, well above the 1 gram floor of the commercial market, with a naturally occurring fat profile that creates genuine creaminess without any additive support. 0 added sugar, 0 sodium, 0 synthetic vitamins. It pours noticeably thicker than anything from the bad list. Visible, immediate evidence of nut content. The taste is clean, rich, and genuinely nutty with no aftertaste of any kind. No natural flavors loopholes. No label claims that needed a class action lawsuit to clarify. At $7.99, $8.99 for a 28 ounces bottle. It is premium. It is also unambiguously exactly what it says. The number 1 brand matches the formula and adds one functional advantage that edges it to the top. Number 1. MALK Organics. MALK is the gold standard of commercial almond, full stop. Austin-based, MALK built their entire brand around one premise. Almond milk should contain almonds. Ingredient list: filtered water, organic sprouted almonds, sea salt. 3 ingredients. The almonds are sprouted, a process that breaks down phytic acid, the anti-nutrient that inhibits mineral absorption in conventional almonds. You're not just getting more almonds, you're getting more bioavailable nutrition. No mainstream brand does this. Protein, 4 grams per cup, 0 added sugar. Sodium, approximately 150 mg per cup. USDA organic certified. Non-GMO project verified. No carrageenan, no gel-on gum, no lecithin, no natural flavors. Nothing to hide. It pours with a light, natural creaminess and tastes like a clean handful of almonds. Subtle, naturally sweet, 0 artificial aftertaste. At $6.99, $7.99 for 28 Oz. The choice is simple. $4.99 for 2% almonds and gum water, or $7.99 for the real thing. Available at Whole Foods, Sprouts, and Target. That's 10 almond milk brands that belong off your shopping list, and 6 that are actually made with real almonds and deserve the shelf space. With the dominant brands in this category containing as little as 2% actual nuts, the gap between what you think you're buying and what you're actually getting isn't subtle. It's the entire product.